back to study break. We just finished recording, and Olivia said, "Start that study break."
We just successfully crash landed. Honestly, barely even a crash.
Yeah, no, yeah. At the end, it really wasn't a crash.
More of a landing, less of a crash.
Hope Margie has fun in hell, I guess, guys.
Oh, yeah, Jesus.
Well, maybe she's
know.
hiding because you were rude to her.
Maybe I said keep eyes on Margie, and you lost eyes on Margie, and now she's gone.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. What do we think happened to Margie?
I think Apple said, "Sweet, you're alone and on the interior of the ship. Let's go."
Mm-hmm.
Scoop.
But also, that Apple was in darkness. It seemed like she needed to be in darkness as well.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Margie went into an inner cabin in darkness.
That's possible. That's very possible.
I think she might be off. I think you really messed with her head. I think she might be off. I don't know if she has a way to contact her family. She might be contacting them and warning them. So she might have just gone somewhere private to deal with that. I don't necessarily think that Apple got her, because we were, as far as I know, Margie and I, at least the way I was imagining it was that Margie and I were both pulling sails.
Yeah. And
which would have been in.
I thought she ran away. I thought she ran
away from you.
I thought she ran into the ship, but maybe I just imagined that
She
wrong.
ran away somewhere.
I should have followed her then.
Could be into the ship. Do we want to start at the beginning? Do we want to talk about anything super pressing?
Loved it.
I love the inter-party conflict.
It was getting tense.
It was a great place to end the episode, but I am really excited about role playing us angry with each other.
Yeah.
Each other.
I think that's
having a strong stance of you're I'm not going to tell my friend's business, and me being but it could be the end of your friend.
I think that's really
Which I think is interesting. I think that's a valid point.
Classic.
Olivia thinks that's a valid point. Beans does not.
Yeah, classic.
I also when she was what could it why would they want me? I was I don't know. I don't know enough to know what they would want Margie for.
Yeah.
But it has to be something in line with Big P and Goop and Red Bright, right?
Yeah.
The theory I've concocted is I feel she has some sort of item or maybe family member that's important, and that's why Apple would be sent on this mission.
Yeah, her family is different. That could be nothing or something very, very important.
It could also be she's maybe she's adopted, so she's her family's not all halflings, which could make a difference. You know what I mean? It's I'm what do they want with halflings? But maybe she was adopted by Lorelei villagers. I know that's not it.
Big P's sister.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Maybe it could be something like that. That it's.
Yeah.
They're trying to take her to get to her family.
Yeah, maybe she's the hostage they need to convince someone to do something.
Yeah.
Let's start at the beginning. We started off and y'all got some potions of Featherfall.
Yeah.
Which was pretty smart getting. Definitely because just the city itself is hanging and
Yeah, exactly.
Can I tell you something I wish I'd done? Jared probably wouldn't let me because he would have gotten mad. I was thinking we should have poured a Featherfall potion like into the engine.
Oh my god.
That would have been interesting. That would have been super interesting.
That was I
like that.
I was torn between. It was at the end when I thought of it between scanning the channels or pouring the Featherfall potion, but
Yeah.
I was like,
I mean,
feel like we might make it.
The falling was only a part of the thing. The other thing was navigating between the cliffs and
that was also the
shit.
thing. We weren't falling in the middle. We weren't falling, and then we started falling again at the end, right?
Yeah.
The ship would have fallen and the engine would have just ripped out the top.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I was like, it's risky.
Your Featherfall. You guys got some backpacks.
Hey, I like our baby
Checked
Bjorns.
them out. Yeah.
Me too.
And yeah, I mean, I didn't say it at the end, but the eggs are still all intact.
Yeah, I got real nervous when it was you fell 115 feet. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
You slam into a wall.
You're right.
Featherfall works for all directions of gravity. And
I
inertia.
kind of described it as they were lighter. And I do think that they're
I imagine them with
the
like
feather
magnets
consistency.
where you can't quite
Yeah.
Yeah. But in my head, it's Featherfall mechanically is only halving what you fall, right? Is that what it does? Or is it just damage?
There's slow fall and then there's feather fall, and there's a difference between the two. But for this,
I just, in my head, I was like, oh, to me, a drastic height would be 50 feet. So if it's it's only halving it and we went 115, maybe it triggers it. I'm assuming it means they need to go into free fall. I need to huck it off the ship.
They need to be falling.
Yeah.
And also y'all have them secured. You guys are holding on to them.
At
It's
one
if you
point-
dropped it off of a cliff, then at one point it would hatch.
At one point, I was like, could 6 baby Pegasi, could we harness
Carry.
them to carry the ship?
yes, like mush,
Yeah, we throw the
Mush,
eggs
mush.
and
like a dog sled.
Yeah.
Newborn baby, wet
and
baby
also like
It seemed like a bad idea,
and
but
also
it did
like
cross my mind.
prematurely born, so
Yeah.
they're like very small.
Yeah.
Again,
wings.
God.
it was in the back of my mind if things are going really bad.
They just have little chicken wings. They don't have feathers yet.
They just like dangle from the ship on the ropes we put around them.
Oh.
And then y'all went outside and you guys saw like all the ships going around. The Brimstone Boys flew overhead of y'all. Then y'all were left alone on the quad until the southern wind, which do y'all get it?
Wild.
Do y'all get why it's called southern wind?
Yeah.
It's a fart.
I do now.
I did pick up on that one.
Hey.
I said that's my girl Margie, but she didn't actually name it. Probably
No.
Probably helped.
she. I bet they all worked together.
I bet Lee was like, I want something really cool. And Margie was like, Southern,
Southern
wind. And he was
wind?
like, that
Yeah.
sounds really badass. And she was like,
Margie's smart, so I could see
Yeah.
that.
And then this crazy shit flew at y'all. Then y'all met Margie, Lee, and Toby.
They're all so important to me. If anything happened to them, I would kill everyone in this room.
Toby
They're all
is
really
so
cute.
cool. I'm sad he had to get knocked out so we couldn't like
he had to get
interact.
knocked out.
We'll
He's
get
too
to
important.
know him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta wake that guy up.
I wasn't trying to like end the encounter. I thought that like we had to get him back up, or
Yeah.
else we were gonna
Yeah.
die.
Well, that's
what I was assuming. I was like, I'm not trying to fuck your encounter. I
Yeah.
thought this was part of it.
But
Yeah.
it was fun that we got to be the ones pulling the levers instead of just being like, Toby's back up, he's on it.
Yeah.
I just
mean,
wanted him to monitor the engine. So because Jared kept being like, oh, you're not all in your station. So I was like, at least the rest of us could go back to our station.
It's definitely cut out of the episode, but at one point I was like, stop trying to end the encounter
Yeah.
because I kept trying to wake up Toby. And I was like, that solves the encounter. That solves that like he's awake. And it's like, no, he's dead. And I had Beans roll an insight and you rolled a 6. And I was like, you don't know what's going on. Like you can't really help him. And then like y'all were like, okay, no, like this is it. This is it. Like we gotta get him up. Because in the original, so this is like a modified encounter that NADPOD did on a ship where there's like a goblin ship and you got to like thrust and boost. And then we did it whenever we originally like played Frogmont like 2 years ago. That was instead of Sarah and Gilbo, it was a massive ship. And then the ship like passed out because the goblin was a vampire and y'all had to give him a gobbly pin.
That
with
was
his
back
blood in it.
when Sawyer was really like insensitive.
Yeah.
She had like the like goblin vampire combo. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
I like kept saying really offensive things on accident.
It's crazy character.
Crazy.
Wild.
I feel like I wrote that part out of her character and gave her different flaws.
That was probably for the best.
Yeah. But we didn't have like the whole like turning wasn't a thing.
No,
The,
there was like an electric serpent.
There was an
in the
electric
cloud.
serpent at the end that
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
saved y'all basically.
Oh, I thought they were doing it to us.
No, that was going to be a dragon that was underneath the school. It's not there.
We go to a different school. The school that was in our first campaign that was off mic
Totally
is
different.
way different than the school
Yeah.
we're in
Very
now.
different.
We got dragons in different places now.
Yeah.
In our hearts.
And our friends.
Yeah. But yeah, that was that encounter. And then like I brought it back just because I really, really think it's fun. And I was like going to the Hanging City.
I was excited when you brought it back. When you said the levers, I was like, yes.
I started drawing those levers so fast.
I also think we had a lot fewer levers. I feel like the
No,
first
it was 8. They just,
I have my levers.
I
from
kind of
last time.
just I think last time I like didn't give a lot of reason to some of the letter. Like it was like y'all stopped falling and then y'all kind of solved
like some
it.
just didn't do anything.
Yeah, well, like y'all
These
kind
are
of
the
solved
levers from last time.
the puzzle.
Lever
is,
1, left drop. Lever 3, right drop.
the levers
Thank
in the
you.
old way we did it was just to, like the puzzle was to stop from falling, and then y'all figured it out pretty quickly. And it's also like we don't know what the levers do, and you're supposed to like try stuff out as the ship is like tearing itself apart, basically. And this, I was like I think finding out falling is pretty dire and quick, and then it's like how do we fly the ship, which is the difference between this one.
I liked that.
And this is getting ahead of myself, but talking about Cato, I based it off of Cato Nemoidia, which is from Star Wars, which is the city they go to in the book Brotherhood. Brotherhood by Mike Chen. And
Read that if you want to get messed up in the head.
did you read it?
No.
It's
I've like read parts of it, but I've never like read it.
no, there's some very sweet Anakin Obi-Wan stuff, but they go to like the Hanging Cities, and it's also in episode 3. It's where Plo Koon dies. Spoilers.
Spoiler.
But
Koon dies?
It's just like the coolest fucking shit you see, and it's like 3 seconds in episode 3, and that's why I think he put it in this book. Mike Chen. The beginning of the book is the Separatists bomb like the arts district or something, and so the entire like part of a city just like fell.
Wow.
And it's like super. Just like really cool like imagery of like smoke and like a hanging city. And if you look up Keto no Moria on Google, that's what I think the city looks like. But I think it's a little bit more like metropolis, like where it's like kind of a New York held up by all these places. But super cool setting, and I wanted to go there.
I'm excited to go there.
Yeah.
I love when we go to new places.
Me too. Since we have our Featherfall potions, I'm feeling confident.
So going back to where we were, y'all meet the crew of the Southern Wind.
Do you know what I just found in my notes next to the 8 lovers from last time? Guess what Weezlebee used to be called? Fribble.
I love
You remember that?
I love a ibble sound.
Fribble?
Fribble.
Fribble.
I think I blocked that out of my memory.
So there was a character.
So anyway.
No. I was gonna say there was a character named Gribble that y'all met, who was
Yeah.
the artificer.
Yeah.
Fribble, Gribble, Fribble. What
and
the fuck,
Fribble.
man?
Well, Fribble doesn't exist anymore.
I know,
We've
but
only got Vribble and Gribble.
Yeah,
Which
Fribble and
is
Gribble
pretty
are
easy
real.
to keep straight.
an Ibble. You love an Ibble.
Because
I love
Vribble
a
is
Ibble.
clearly a halfling artificer.
I think Ibble is so
and
silly.
Vribble is also clearly a
How could you
Aarakocra
get them confused?
with a nurse hat.
Easy.
The images are
Done.
conjured in your mind by the words. It's like Shakespeare.
And then you have Fribble, the school.
I love this. I love this crew that we've met. And I love that, like, because Margie was Sawyer's friend, we were like, yeah, you guys are cool. Like, we were just like, yeah, we accept you. It just, the difference
Yeah.
between when we met the Brimstone boys and we were like, you motherfuckers.
You guys suck.
I forgot that not every school is separated by gender, kinda, even though it doesn't really matter. And so when you were like, Lee comes down, I was like, oh, a man.
Yeah, me too.
And then I was like, oh, I'm also a boy.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. I wanted. I don't know how I'll put it in there, but I would say Lee is another transfer student from
Transfer.
We're
student.
adding
From-
to the docket.
He's from Frogmont. He went to Frogmont.
And then transferred to
Transferred to Weezlebee because to be more pirate.
Because
So-
Frogmont didn't have enough pirate stuff going
Enough
They don't have enough
ship
pirates.
school for him.
And so he wanted to do his.
I mean,
his mom was a
Weezlebee
He wanted to
pirate.
be like his
Well,
mom.
Yeah.
Weezlebee's down there by the docks.
Yeah.
Well, no, they
Down
like
by the dog.
they have a dock. Like Weezlebee has like is at the bottom.
That's what I
Each
meant,
school
like,
has like docks.
An actual like ocean.
Like,
Yeah,
closer to
yeah.
the sea.
Like Weezlebee is absolutely where all the piratey kids would be.
Yeah. And also like air pirates.
I can't wait to learn more about their
Oh, that's
curriculum.
true. I guess he is an air pirate.
Yeah.
Was his
Well,
mom
maybe-
an air pirate or was she a sea pirate?
I'd say pirates in Eldraville can like they do both.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, maybe he's like both. Maybe he's learning to be good at both of them. And like the point is, like after school, you decide if you want to be in
Well,
the
he's a
air, be in the
sailor,
sea.
So I was thinking, and he said his mom had a mom and a dad, and his mom was a pirate. So I was thinking his dad is probably a satyr, and it was like a land and sea thing.
Yeah.
I made a really dramatic and good backstory for them on the spot.
I knew you would.
But yeah, that's
They've got like a sweeping love affair.
And-
Do you actually
In my
know
mind.
what's different about Margie's family?
I know some things, but
I'm
even
just
if
curious.
I did, I wouldn't tell you.
I know. I'm just curious if
But
like you
there's-
actually did know or
There's
not.
a few things I know, but mostly
I was going to talk about that, but then I was like, me saying it would give it away.
That's fine. I was just curious.
like I know more about Margie's family than y'all, but I do
Yeah.
not know the extent of
Because of like, well, and also like the reveal of what does Sawyer know gives away,
Yeah.
like in the story. Because like you don't know what you know basically. And then also like if there is something that Sawyer knows, then it gives it away. If I'm like, there's nothing that like you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Sawyer doesn't know what it is.
But even what
then it's
Sawyer
lame. Then
knows-
it's like, oh well, then like we don't
Yeah.
know. And then like the stakes are lower. So
I just thought it
it's
was
still kind of Margie's like story. I
Yes.
don't know if she'll tell it or if she's okay with me telling it, then maybe one day
yeah,
in the
we'll
next
figure it out.
sessions I'll tell y'all.
I just thought it was a really good example of collaborative storytelling where like I don't think Lily actually knew the key, like actually what she was talking about, but as a character decided not to tell it.
Yeah.
And trust, like instead of being like, can I roll if I do know? Like I
Yeah.
thought it was a good, like you made a decision knowing that Jared had something and you guys didn't need to like stop and be like,
Mhm. Yeah. For
what do you know? You know, like I thought it was a nice moment of like you trusting Jared and Jared trusting you to like help tell the story.
Yeah. And before this, Lily asked me, because she gave me a character description, because Lily made Margie. And
Margie is birthed from my mind. I didn't like that. I take it back immediately. I'm sorry for saying gross.
And she like kind of asked me like a little bit like kind of, I interpreted it as like what was true that like you had written. And I was like, kind of what Esta is like everything that you believe and wrote down is true. Like that's true to the world. It's more now of like they're a real living person in our minds. So like what have they not told you? What do you believe? What are you just remembering maybe wrong? Or maybe what you were told or what they told you what's wrong. So everything that you believe and everything you come up with is true. It's just, is it true to the other person? And then we start flying. Y'all do some little ship checks. I thought was fun to do.
Loved it.
Just kind of like what's your whistles on see like how good y'all are and kind of introducing that mechanic.
We were pretty good at first.
At flying the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're solid. There were 21s all around.
I liked how close to death we got.
Yeah.
Every time we would crash into something, I would be like, hee.
Every time we go to a falling encounter, we cut it real close.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
last time was real close.
Yeah.
You got it. It's more fun that way. I like that.
You gotta run into some mountains.
Well,
or what's the point?
I loved it. Every time we hit a mountain, Olivia was like, fuck yeah.
Me too.
I think I'll say this now. I did have like two like very different ending. If the ship like crashed, it would have story-wise, y'all would have crashed into the city and the guards.
Sounds like it would not be good.
And instead of Chet's family meeting you all at the docks, it would have been the town guards meeting you all at the crash site being like, we're arresting you.
That's why, that's what I thought. I was like, if we are going to crash, I was like, I want to get on the air control to be like, emergency. Please don't blame us.
Was a good move.
I was like, please don't blame us. We're not attacking your city. That's where my mind was going. Cause I was like, if we crash, they're not going to be like, are you guys okay? They're going to be like, who are you?
I thought air control was a genius move.
Didn't work. But
No, but still.
I was kind of hoping that y'all crash landed because I wanted to do a thing where
Me
like
too.
Chet's parents have to like bail y'all out.
I wish that we had gotten arrested so that we would have had to like do a jailbreak or something.
Yeah, but that would have been a pain in the butt.
we're also in another scenario where we got to our destination, but now we have to figure out how to make it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not expecting to see Apple.
Yeah,
And I should've.
wanted
You
to
asked.
That was
I wanted to throw a little
crazy.
curveball at you.
And then it made me realize I was like, oh, I should probably like write out the descriptions of all of them. I have details, but I don't have what they all look like. Like
The
I
amount
have,
of older siblings
I'm not
we
coming up
have
with that.
between us. Oh my goodness.
well, yeah, because I know she's a magic user. I have that, and I have where she is in the order of us.
Mm-hmm.
Pulled that out on the fly, but I think a stub-tailed cat.
Yeah.
She kind of sounded hard as fuck. Like,
yeah, she was hardcore.
Like she
Very
really
different,
cool.
like
Yeah,
very different from
like,
Cherry.
Like my description, and then you were like, okay, and let me add on top of that. I was like, I actually am scared of her and don't trust her.
Yeah.
Like in my head, there's siblings I was closer to, and there's siblings who like really took their purpose to be guards of hell, and they're like, that's my purpose in life. I'm doing that.
Well, and also it's like, I don't even know if we've gotten to like Beans was like alone at one point. So like your siblings left.
Yes.
And so they were gone for who knows for like however long.
Yeah.
And what I get like going back to the thing of like what you know them as is true, but now it's like, how have they changed?
Yeah. And it's like also like, I don't feel like I have a concept of like how hell changes them, right? Like
Yeah.
I assume what you were describing on her arms, I assume is like a brand or like some sort of like, not to get fucked up, but like maybe some fucked up thing that they put their guardians through to make them not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how
Descent?
you knew them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some kind
so-
of binding spell is what
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah. That's
imagining.
what I'm imagining. Like something
Yeah.
that's like not controlling her, but may prevent her from doing things or make, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't trust.
Listening to the interaction happening, I was like, oh boy. Because I like, when we met Cherry, it was like, oh, Cherry's so sweet and
Yeah.
cool. And so I just like immediately was like, oh, another one of his sisters, yippee! And then as soon as like the conversation kept going, I was like, oh no, she's one of the bad ones.
Well, it's also like
I didn't realize that at first.
And I think I wanted to like characterize Cherry in this episode by giving the other ones like, it's like, no, Cherry's the odd one out.
Yeah.
Cherry's the different one.
Yeah, it's like
she's on her own.
It's like we haven't gotten into it, but it's like they're more likely not going to be like me. Like the majority are going to be different, and I think Cherry just like she's the oldest, so maybe feels protective of everybody. And I think she also, in the first session we played of this podcast that got deleted and erased from history.
It's not erased. It's in the drive. I was going to say we put that on the Patreon if you want to tune in.
I say we add commentary to it.
That would be
Can't
insane.
add commentary to
Then we do it. Then we do a study break.
A study. Yeah, we could get. It has a study break.
Like we listen to it.
We'll have to listen back to it.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds scary.
Cherry's in that, right? Cherry comes home. It's like a dinner, and Cherry's there. Am I crazy?
I think you're insane.
Didn't that happen at one point?
That was the very first non-recorded. Because I remember, I very vividly remember all of your siblings at the dinner table.
So
and
like
Cherry comes in.
Headcanon is like Cherry visited home more often. Like, I don't know, like she's obviously has some sort of travel privileges. So it's like Cherry was able to like still form a connection with me, even though being out of the house. Yeah. Whereas like the other ones, maybe not. But I was a little scared and I was panicking. Beans was panicking.
Good.
I thought the encounter was going to be we're going to have to fight Apple, and I was
so ready to. I was ready to fight her. I was like I will
keep the ship in the air and fight her.
That's what I thought too, and I was ready, but that's why I was like,
I think we definitely would have died.
Yeah. But I was like, that's why we keep eyes on Margie. A few dark thoughts happened. If we were going down and it was looking like you guys are going to fucking die or like really bad, I was going to make a deal with Apple. I was willing. It would not have been good. And I was like weighing the consequences in my head, but I was like,
I did have a plan though if you did do that.
But I was like, Beans would make this decision. Beans doesn't have that connection to Margie, and like there's a bigger thing at stake. I don't know. He would have maybe kept it for Sawyer.
Yeah. I had an idea that you might do that.
I also knew that might happen.
I was like in my back pocket. I was like, I will call for Apple and trade Margie, but it had to be good. Like I wasn't just gonna
yeah. That was a little bit of like while we were getting towards the end there of the crash, I was like, we have like a couple more rounds and like y'all can do stuff.
I was also
wants
like
to say something.
If we were gonna get to that point, I was gonna like give Margie like ask for Cherry, find Cherry, look for like I was gonna be like, I'll give you tools to help you wherever you're going.
As I send you to hell. I love the imagery of like the picture of like Beans like not Cherry, Apple with her like all her piercings on her ear, and then like Beans with his like one name tag.
The Frogma ID.
And then she has her arms, which now that I'm thinking about it is like the Briar Knights. Like if someone was wrapped in briars, that might be the kind of scars it leaves. I don't know if I'm cooking with that or not. But then Beans has like his arms wrapped.
Yeah, they're like covered.
Their height difference.
But right now they're not because I wrapped them over my baby Bjorn, so my arms are free.
Oh, so your arms are and kind of like undamaged.
Yeah, like unmarked.
It was just a really cool image of like the siblings.
I also like the way you described it is I imagine because you were like above you or something. I imagine like she was behind me and like her face comes into focus and I'm just like looking up having this conversation. Like I never faced her. I was just looking up and being like, uh-oh.
That would be very like cat, kind of like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, it felt very like Cheshire Cat, like a face appearing from the shadows that's like
so scary.
Maybe scary, maybe familiar.
That was kind of my idea of like it's just like a face and then like you see like some arms and
I found it interesting that you were like, she's not hunting. It's like just waiting. Like just waiting for you to give it over.
You don't know, like if you weren't on the ship, like she like
you guys would have
also she was like playing around.
Yeah, like I think she would have like killed you all and taken her.
And like she was messing around. She's a little cat.
Yeah, the little like knocks.
And
felt a little like kitty soft paws from Puss in Boots fucking around.
Yeah. And then you were totally surprised there and you were like, okay, like I'll let you see if you can what you can do with these friends.
I think we can kick
and
her
also
ass.
like she does have something for she was like friends don't matter, it's all family. Like,
I do think like there is a connection between the siblings that like maybe we have differing attitudes or like feel differently about the situation we're put in, but there is something that ties us together and like we're not just gonna kill each other willy-nilly, you know. It's like there's still something there even if we like don't have like a close bond.
Yeah.
I also liked how similar Apple and Felicity were in that like family is always above any sort of like friendship or like forged relationship. It seems like I don't know. It seems like they would not have anything in common. At least like looking at them because they have such different lives. But then like I don't know. They were really similar in that way.
Yeah, it's like, what do these older siblings? It's almost like, what do they know that we don't? That they're like family
It
first.
is
like,
kind of giving oldest sibling.
Yeah.
I was saying that as the oldest sibling.
yeah. It's
And
like,
I'm obviously a huge found family person, but
Yeah.
like I think that it makes a lot of sense psychologically.
yeah. I just thought it was interesting. I literally looked up like what order she was. She's like she's in the middle. So she's older than me, definitely, but
I
she is
thought
a
she
middle.
was the oldest.
Cherry's the oldest.
That's so okay.
So she's a middle child.
Yeah.
And out of 9 of us, the middle's a wide range.
Yeah, there's a big middle. Interesting. Well, yeah, they still have that in common, even though they don't have the
But
birth order.
now I'm like, oh my God, are all of my siblings out on a mission? And for what? And for who?
Yeah, that's something.
And
to
I
think
also
about.
think-
You can, if she's not the oldest, you can assume that there's bigger missions, right?
Exactly. Like, is the ranking like, okay, this is like a medium mission.
Yeah.
I think Cherry's rogue in my opinion.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but then there's other older ones. in
Yes. And some,
between. And then they've got the Briar Knights on you too.
yeah. Also, newsflash, they're all named after foods. So get ready.
It's also funny. It's
So
a
good.
scary cat, and their name is Apple.
Yeah.
Apple.
I was looking at the names, and I was like, I was between Apple and Orzo.
Orzo.
I don't want to
Orzo.
spoil any name.
Orzo's right is the second youngest.
Yeah, I didn't want to spoil any, but I was like, Orzo is like. I was like, Orzo's too cool. Like, I was like, I want them to be scared to fit in this world. I think they need to be like very scary, but have like a silly name.
But also dorky.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
dorky to them.
I also obviously I've been aligning their like some feature of them with the food they're associated with.
Yeah.
Like, I'm beans because I'm brown,
Yeah.
like a bean. So it's like Cherry got it for her eyes, but Apple, like, I know cherries sometimes are more red than apples, but there's a lot of different cherries out there. So cherries can be lighter, but apples are typically like red. That's why her eyes are red. But then it's like, yeah, there's other ones on here that aren't so color related. So I'm like, I have to figure out what got them their name.
Mm-hmm.
Like Orzo's not really.
Orzo's really long.
You just see a long cat,
Yeah.
long torsoed cat,
They're
long
all black
body.
cats, though, aren't they?
Yes, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like they're all gonna be black.
Curly.
Are you two
fur.
all?
Yeah.
Are you two all like?
Oh,
you're like
So it
your
looks like a
children's-
bowl of
Your
orzo.
children, your parents' biological children.
Yes. Well, as I know.
I know. I was thinking about that. I think like a few weeks ago. I was like, oh, what if Beans is like a bastard child?
Oh my God! Somebody cheated on somebody. I have no allegiance to my
I thought
parents.
that would be so fun.
Yeah. I don't know.
What's mother up to? Oops, sorry.
Yeah, what is Mother up to?
Mother.
What is mother up to?
I'm excited. This is jumping around again. I'm excited about Kato because we have like a close friend of Sawyer. We now have at least like
Chet's parents.
a Briar Knight and
surprise.
Beans' sister, like who are hunting them. And then also we have a Ruodon that we need to go see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it sounds scary that my sister can make magic darkness and then the Briar Knight can move in darkness. So, like,
I know.
It seems like there might be a setup of, like, I'm not going to do anything, but he might. I was so excited for Chet's family.
Yeah, and then we got Chet's family.
I am excited to explore this, like, tension between Sawyer. Because, like, this friend is obviously, like, there's more of a connection there because you've
Yeah.
known her longer.
Yeah.
And so it's like going to be really interesting to try to convey, like, I think your friend's feelings are not as important as your friend's, like, well-being is like a lot where I'm coming from.
Yeah. I want us to have a big fight.
We've had some little scuffles.
And then I'm
Yeah,
interested.
Actually, this is kind of early, but I think my flunk might be that like there was one point where we were doing like a good like trio, like you didn't.
Yeah.
We were bickering, and then for the sake of playing the game, we like stopped and like continued. with
Yeah.
roles. But I wish that we had like done the bit of like 3 people arguing.
I love the idea because
But we can do it next session.
I love the idea because you tried to say something to me and I was like, that's not on the speaking stone. I can't hear it. So I
Yeah.
love that we had to shift into like, we have to talk through each other because one person can't access.
I was imagining it like Esta with the speaking stone, you with the speaking stone, and then I could only hear Esta because she was in
Yes.
the open air, right? I was envisioning us on like kind of the 3 levels.
I could envision that like I could maybe determine that somebody was yelling and maybe be like, I know that's Sawyer or Esta, but like I couldn't tell what you were saying. So like
Yeah.
I at least could tell like somebody was talking.
That's true. That's true. So then, so we have to have waited till later to have our big fight anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Can do it
feel
at
like
the
we
beginning.
haven't had a lot of like, other than like the fake fight, we haven't had like a lot of inter-party conflict as far as like our objectives haven't gone against each other, and now
Yeah.
they are, which is really fun.
Well, I'm also curious to see how Esta Esta weighs in of like, she's going to have a different perspective than both of us.
Yeah.
And like, is not necessarily going to have to take sides, but is going to like ultimately like maybe have to be the deciding factor of like, I'm just curious how that plays in with the rest of us. Campbell looks nervous.
Yeah, you look so scared. But you're like kind of like the diplomat. I'm doing air quotes.
Yeah.
And so like it's fun to like put you in the middle.
Yeah. Also, the speaking stone, how I tracked it, and maybe when we listen back, Sawyer threw it through the window to Esta. But in my head, Esta's on the controls, so she wouldn't pick it up. She would just be listening to it. I imagine it's not like a walkie-talkie that you have to click. Like, I imagine it's a little magic in the way that like when you speak into it, it works.
I figured that I picked it up.
Interesting.
Going back to the argument, I feel like Esta's the diplomat. It's like she's always gonna be like, I don't know, she's a lot of siblings. So like she's always gonna be on the side of like making sure that the fight ends. Like, she's just like looking for a solution that's just gonna like end the tension.
But it's like, we can't end this fight because it's up to Margie to like make the ultimate decision. Or Margie's in hell.
I'm like so worried about her.
I was like, Beans, I feel like has to get a little harsh this episode. And like, I feel like you showed it when he was like, hope your friend has fun in hell. And then like leaves.
Who said that?
I remember you like, I was like, I hope your friend has fun in hell because you're not telling me. And then I went down to the and pouted.
That's crazy.
Crazy thing to say.
As the ship is like being destroyed.
We can fight about it next time.
I know. I was like, I actively made a decision. I was like, I gotta say something a little harsh.
When dogs are like, that's gonna be us.
Or when cats are like,
That's gonna be Beans.
Oh my god.
What do y'all think? Chet's. What do y'all want to do next session with Chet's parents?
Well, they are Priscilla's neighbors.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they can kind of take us right to one of the places we want to go. I want to drop the ship because we crashed next to the ship that Brobini was on.
Yeah, we didn't even get to that. Brobini's there.
I want to like if they're like not on it anymore, if they've already gone into their mission, I want to like trip it out.
Holy shit, are we gonna prank them?
Yeah,
are we gonna do another prank?
I think we should drop the eggs off first. We should like complete the mission as quickly as possible so that we have like the rest of the day in Cato to do whatever we want without having to worry about them.
Like pranks.
Exactly. Pranks.
Interesting.
Talking to a long lost cousin.
I think we should prank first, drop the eggs off, and then
talk to Priscilla.
Yeah, because the prank window.
Chet's parents are gonna be like, "What the fuck are you doing in
okay,
there?"
fine,
And
fine.
then Chet's parents, they'll understand. Hey, we got to do a prank real quick.
Or maybe we should sneak back later under the cover of nightfall. In my head, we're spending the night. I don't think the ship's getting fixed.
Oh yeah, that's probably true. I mean, we could.
Ship's flyable.
Hey, it's
and also if Toby's awake.
Well, and we're at the docks. I'm sure they have a lot of people.
Yeah.
If Toby's awake,
we can bill it to Frogmont.
Exactly. There's probably plenty of repair crews hanging
Metropolis,
out. Just waiting.
big city.
Yeah. But I'm excited about being in a really high, like populated, like there's so many options of things to do here. So I'm excited to do that.
I'm also like,
I want to get some really good prank materials.
It feels like this quests are like, once we're out there, like we are pretty free to make our own decisions. And then like we face the consequences when we come back. But it's like nobody's here like monitoring us being like, well, you have to be home in 8 hours. So like we could stay the night. It feels like
I mean, you guys have class. I mean, well, actually,
we could make those decisions and be like, well, like our ship had to be repaired.
What do y'all think? Does Frogmont have class on Fridays?
No.
Friday is field ship day.
Or like combat training, like open mat.
Maybe it's like a late start day to give like wiggle room for quests.
Yeah.
It's Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights.
It's Arcano Ball game.
I was gonna say like Arcano Ball at night, but also Friday was gonna be like a combat class day.
Or I was thinking like open mat,
like a big tournament style thing.
I like that.
There's no boring classes on Friday.
I like that. It's a late start. It's a combat class and then Arcano Ball.
It's kind of like a day that you can definitely like you can connect with the upperclassmen to go train on the mats or like it's free form, but like like you still have to be like you can't just sleep all day.
If I don't wake up and I'm at Frogmont tomorrow, it's all over. I'm gonna lose it.
Okay. Since you gave a flunk, I'm going to give an A+. I was shocked that I remembered the character description
that was crazy.
Of Toby well enough for the orbs. It just stood out to me.
The orbs was smart.
It was like
amazing.
I like sometimes I take these descriptions, I build the character in my head, and then I throw whatever you said away because I already have the image in my brain.
Yeah.
But it stuck out to me because I was like, ooh, I like glowing things.
Yeah.
And then it actually mattered.
Yeah.
Sorry if I figured that out too fast, but
the orbs?
Yeah.
No, you figured it out in perfect time. I was very, very happy.
I'm glad I drug him over there with me, or I would have forgot he existed.
No,
I really had to keep him on me in order to remember he was there.
What's y'all's plans for Priscilla Ruidon?
I'm gonna let Esther take the lead on that one.
Yeah, I've got like a list of questions in my head. I've got like an idea of like things that I want to ask her, but it's just a question of whether or not she wants to talk to me at all.
Yeah. So this is what the map looks like that y'all had filled out.
Oh yeah, we get to see the map.
I had on the bottom, what I showed y'all initially. So I had like a different axis. So there is stuff above y'all that y'all would like hit, and then stuff that were like to the left and right that y'all could hit.
That's really smart. Wow. I would never
Jared's mind is so 3-dimensional.
Yeah, wow.
My mind would never work that way. You pull out an axis and I go, nope.
Really? That's where you phone it in?
Interesting, isn't it? But yeah, you throw math at me all day, but if you're like, we're going to work on axis now, I'd be like,
Are you good at like algebra type of math?
yeah.
I feel like people who are good at like theoretical math are usually like not as good as geometry and spatial math.
Yeah, I was
which is
not.
like that's the only one that I was ever good at. And then theoretical math, I was up a creek.
Geometry, I kind of understood it, but like algebra, I could do that all day.
Yeah, that was the opposite. I feel like most people are obviously there's some people who are just good at all math, but I feel like most like I don't know average like normal people who aren't mathematicians are like one or the other.
And I was like good at pre-cal, and I never took calculus because I found a loop in the system, and then I went to school for theater. So
nice.
Yeah, I just didn't take a math class my senior year.
Not taking a math class your senior year is my A+ for high school. Segueing into A+ and flunks.
Wow, that was smooth.
That's pretty smooth.
My A+ is I love following encounters, and I also love encounters like this where there's like a puzzle element and also like some sort of like there's a puzzle, but there's also checks. So like the dice are telling the story, but it's also like up to us to like come up with like creative solutions.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of fun with that.
My
A+ to Jared.
My flunk that I've already fixed was I caught myself towards the end being like, I'm mad at Lily. And then I said, no, you're not. I said, what are you talking about? You're not mad at Lily. So my flunk is that all of a sudden I blended my character and myself too much, but I immediately used the tools I know from theater and boundaries to be like, that's fake.
But that's so real. With D&D, it's like so much more of like you and the character. Like with acting, it's like even if you're improvising, it's still like sort of lines or it's still sort of contrived. But it's like with D&D, it's so much of you and the character. Yeah, it was like a little bit like Olivia and Lily are mad at each other.
Yeah.
But it was because Sawyer and Beans were mad at each other.
Exactly. And it's like, I also like understand that like not everybody is able to think on the level of like, I'm blending the two. I need to separate them because they don't all have a performance background, which is like a common thing that happens when you play a character.
Yeah, acting safety tools are super useful. And there's like specific like D&D like role play safety tools. But like obviously acting and theater safety tools like help out a lot with that.
Yeah.
Too.
And a good thing that I was able to do this in my head and figure it out. But one tactic is like you could like if I was still feeling mad at Lily, I could say Beans is really mad at Sawyer, but Olivia is not mad at Lily at all. Like literally just verbalizing that there is a difference will hopefully flip a switch in your brain. It usually does. There's more extreme options, but like all I had to say was, oh, Beans and Sawyer are in a conflict. Olivia and Lily are not in a real conflict.
But here's the other thing. Beans and Sawyer being in a conflict is so fun.
I love it.
Like it being mad at each other is so fun.
I know. But I had to take the moment to be like, oh, I'm not mad at Lily. Lily and I don't have to fight after this in real life.
We could.
Well, we could, but that was my flunk is what was that?
Y'all's, we could.
I blended me and my character for a second and I went, oh, no.
My A+ was also going to be that I really enjoy puzzle encounters. I liked like, getting to pull the levers and stuff, so I was glad that I got to do that. So I enjoy like a puzzle encounter.
Hell yeah.
My flunk is that I forgot I had mending the whole time.
Made it more
I should have let someone else do the levers.
I literally was like, Esta must not have mending. I should have asked.
In my head, I was like, well, she would have brought it up.
No, I thought the same thing.
Just like,
but now we know to ask.
Yeah.
I was just so, because I switched over to using Google Docs to like write down all the lever stuff, so I wasn't like looking at my character sheet anymore and just didn't even think to look at my spells.
I was like, oh, Esta has mending. And then I went, no, that's Add-on. Because I've been watching Fantasy Nine. And like y'all are, I know that you haven't seen it, but you and Add-on are very similar.
Oh, okay.
And so I literally went, oh no, I got her mixed up.
Oh no, I'm mixing them up. But I also like you were doing such a good job on the levers and like Sawyer was assisting you so well that in my head I was like, we can't change it, right? Like we can't take her off the levers.
we can't have Esta off the levers.
I was like, that's Esta's job. But I thought this encounter encounter. I love this encounter. It felt like a true, like in my head when somebody's like, I'm building an encounter, this is what it means. Like it's like, I want a little bit of puzzle. I want a little bit of, I can use my abilities.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have anything to use, but like you guys could use mending or what did you, your
I used my
telekinetic.
telekinesis.
Yeah.
That was really good. Like
That was fun.
I enjoy getting to interact with those abilities that are not in combat.
Yeah.
And then also you have the emotional, like, should we tell? Should we?
I liked
should
that
we
there
end
was
this?
story with this encounter because I had to make a decision of like, I felt Beans thought it was so important to try to get to the bottom of this so quickly that I was willing to forfeit helping Esta or like being in front of the engine if something were to go down. Like that was more important. So I like that I had to balance a lot of things. I feel like this is a true encounter. You have to use every one of your skills, not just one.
A+. I feel like the music that I was playing for us for the session.
Oh,
that shit,
yes.
really
that shit was
good.
fucking.
What did we walk out to? We walked out
There
of
was some Toy Story in there.
Really?
I do not think there was.
Lily is making that up.
Wrong.
Lily
There
heard
was-
Toy Story
there was
in her head.
There was hit me with your best shot.
That's what it was. As we walked out of Frogmont to like look at like all the like ships and everything, Hit Me With Your Best Shot was playing.
That was another one of
There
my.
was Toy Story in there.
Toy Story?
Go back and tell me which one I thought was Toy Story.
Tom Sawyer.
No.
Oh, no. It's the thing that you guys thought a long time ago. Like back when we originally played, I
You were
played
like,
this
is
song.
Star Wars.
Yeah, you were like, that's John
now
Williams.
we're like, that's Toy Story.
They were like, that's John Williams. And I'm like, no, it's Treasure Planet.
Oh,
and
so
it
it's
is-
still Treasure Planet.
it's-
It's not Toy Story.
Jim Saves the Crew from Treasure Planet.
Great song.
Great song.
Great track.
Lily was like that a long time ago. Was like,
Incredible
that is
score.
John Williams. It's a really great. Your ship is falling out of the sky kind of vibe.
Yeah.
What's your flunk?
I don't know. It's kind of a maybe. I have no idea what my notes say that I planned for this session. I think it's all in my mind, but I like did not look at my Obsidian notes, so I don't know what I missed as of right now. I don't know if I missed anything for y'all. If I was supposed to tell y'all anything more.
It felt really like robust and full.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
'cause
had a lot.
We got so
planned
many,
out.
like we got two really like well developed, or like they're not super developed yet, but like we got like two like kind of rich NPCs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which was really cool. We have got a lot of NPCs,
y'all do.
but they're all really like interesting and they're all really like vivid in my mind.
Yeah.
Their voices aren't in my mind, but we're figuring them
okay.
out.
I almost razzed you because Lee sounded really similar to Nails.
Yeah, well, I was like going towards Nails, and I was like, oh fuck, it, we gotta get away from that. We gotta get away from.
Well, I
that.
thought he was
And
gonna have a pirate
Steer away from
accent.
Nails.
I was going. I wanted him
Yeah, his
to.
mom was a pirate.
I wanted him to, but then I was like, nobody's like kind of like a kid. Like he can't be like, oh, pirates.
It's true. It's hard to do a young pirate unless it's like a cabin boy, and then
Yeah.
it turns into nails.
Then
No.
that's Nails.
Then that's nails.
But I didn't really like test it out beforehand.
Another A+ I had that I forgot to mention was the description of like walking out of Frogmont and like all the different ships. And then I love that we
Yes.
rolled really well there. I think I rolled like a 20 perception, which I never do. So like just getting to hear about all the different, like see all the different
Yeah.
teams, like and who they're paired with.
And Gracker with
Gracker,
Thea
Thea,
and
and
Vribble.
Vribble.
That was crazy.
Juicy.
Really fun, odd like couple trio there. Like
And then Bro Beanie's team is like here, and maybe we can spy on them or something.
Yeah, what are they
Maybe.
doing? What
I
are they?
don't
And
know.
what are they doing with their brimstone boys that they got? And it's like a
Yeah.
huge ship. It's like the biggest one.
I like
Yeah,
Oh,
they
wow.
got like the like cool upperclassmen Brimstone
Yeah.
boys.
Yeah.
I liked imagining all the mounts that like the day we get a quest to go pick somebody else up, it's like, do we
Yeah.
get like to pick any mount? Like, can we go fucking ride in on
Maybe my dad will
Griffins?
give me my first beetle early.
Yeah, we come in with
See.
beetles.
That would be fun. But they're like carriages and beetles and other kinds of ships.
Flying worms.
Flying worms. It was so vivid and colorful. Like, and then we just got to like see so many things happening that gave us
Yeah.
information. I really loved that.
Well, we've gotten away from the kind of like high school vibe, like
Yeah.
college high school vibe. That's kind of the mix of it. And I was like, well, that's because like it's been dark. Everyone's been down. We had our dire. But now it's like, no, we're back and like we're at where I wanted us to get to at some point where it's like, which is I think what Fantasy High also has a lot of. It's like, we're at fucking school and like this is what's happening. But it's like, like, but the devil may come out of every corner. And like, and it's like, oh, here we go. We're getting fucking chili dogs and beef enchiladas. But there is a dark terror briar knight in every corner. And our families are deciding our fate. Am I cursed or am I gifted? That's and,
Love it.
And I wrote down, well, I told this to Olivia a while ago, but I was like, in my mind, the vibe for Gals and Goblins, I wanted it to be Derry Girls meets Adventure Time meets Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
That because I feel like Percy Jackson is like we're having fun, but like my family, like whatever, and also like the devil and monsters.
The devil.
And then like Derry Girls is like absurd, like the girls and our boy, but we're all girls.
But there's still like a
And
very.
then they get you.
But then they
And
get
every
you.
season finale, they're like, we got him.
And then we got
And
we
they
got
did.
There's still a very real world conflict that is
Yeah.
happening around
Yeah.
these young women and men in
Yeah,
that
And, like-
story.
young women growing up on the backdrop of like really intense.
I
like,
get gone every time. I'll go rewatch it and be like, every like they get me
Yeah.
every time.
The end of that
And then-
first
and then
season,
every
I'm always
time-
like,
yeah,
And
every
then
time
they'll
the
play-
season finale comes
yeah.
around, I'm like, oh my god.
they'll be dancing, and then cranberries will start playing.
The good berries. Hey, we have the good berries. That's
we
like
do.
we're so Dairy Girls.
And
We're
then
gonna go
and
to
then,
a
like,
Good Berries concert one day.
yeah. And then the Adventure Time is just like the crazy shit that goes on.
I
And
love
just
it.
like, but also like the love of like intimate
And the
like,
color palette.
Yeah, color palette.
the seeing all the ships outside gave me very Sky High vibes. You know,
Yeah.
when they're all like
Yeah.
flying in on the buses and like
Very
everybody's
Sky High.
getting
Okay,
to
it's
school
giving
a different
Sky
way.
High a little.
Yep.
I love Sky High.
Yeah.
Me too.
You know who I'd be? The bitch who turns into a gerbil. I get it.
That's so you.
It's so that could be so helpful.
Sky High was the first movie that I made out to. We were like, let's put on a movie so that we could just kiss. And then I was like, and I had never seen it. I kept getting distracted. I was like,
It's a good ass
this
movie.
is
That's a
good.
bad movie to kiss
So
to.
we
Such a good
need to go
movie.
back a few days later and like actually watch it.
Ours was Deadpool.
Yeah.
And by ours,
In
I
the
don't know.
theater?
No.
No, at home.
Sorry. I used to
and
know
with
people who would just like go and sit in like the back row of the
Oh,
movie
no.
theater.
No.
And I was like, that is like
It was
public
in the
indecency.
piece of
Yeah,
glass.
that's
That is
weird.
nasty. I
And-
mean, they were just kissing, but
Thor
still.
Ragnarok.
Yo-
This is a really funny one.
That's crazy.
That's also a really good movie.
That's-
not Thor. The one with
If it was Dark World, then that was like
No.
you were getting your kisses in early.
no
Ragnarok is the one with like
The
you
really
meet-
fun one.
Yeah, you meet like
Yeah, that's
Thor
right.
and,
With
the Hulk
and Jeff
and-
Goldblum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jeff
yeah,
Goldblum's
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That's
It was that one.
That was your first makeout movie?
Yeah,
Nice.
And
I feel like that's a good
it
one.
was fun.
Let us in the comments. Let us know your first makeout
Yeah,
movie.
Yeah.
tell us
And,
Tell us your first
and
makeout
if
movie.
And
you
if you
don't,
haven't had it yet, then say what you want it to be.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
ideal makeout movie. Thank you so much for listening to Gals and Goblins. Get to the Patreon. We'll find us on Patreon. Find us on all of our socials
that Patreon link's gonna be at the
in the description.
in the description in those show notes. Want more of this? Did you laugh during this episode? If you did, you probably want to go over to our Patreon so you can laugh some more because we're real fun over there.
Did you cry? Probably not. But
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably.
Were you a little
Ideal
scared?
Make out Gals and Goblins episode.
Anyway.
Thank you so
Anyways,
much for
hey,
listening.
if you want to see that, subscribe to the Patreon.
Get in the-
Yeah.
Get in the comments. Get in the
We'll
Patreon.
formulate the perfect
wink.
Gals and Goblins. makeout.
yeah.
Anyway, bye.
See ya.